funniest moments was when, like, at the end, they get him on the drum line, and they just go to, like, some random drummer, like, yo, take your uniform off, pants too, like, you're out of here. Like, that troublemaker who you've been, like, putting down and off the team, he's out again, so he's back on, so
he's cool. We're fine with him now.
You're done, but,
like, he's Loki in the Avengers, and he's, like, Thor. Like, do we trust him now or not?
It's like Hawkeye. You're like, alright, let's get Hawkeye out of here.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Del.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
So, today we watched Drumline.
Yes, we did.
Nick Cannon.
Yes. IMDb. A band director recruits a Harlem street drummer to play at a Southern university. And this movie came out in 2002. Okay, so our first thoughts.
Yeah, so we start off with, like, things we liked. I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Like, kind of knock out the obvious one. I thought the drumming was really good.
Yep.
Like, and I guess all the band performances were really good. It was exciting to watch. Just kind of, like, really fun to watch, you know? And, like, hearing, like, them do, like, band renditions of, like, good songs was also fun. So I think that was, like, probably one of the best parts about this movie.
Drumming was very good. I, in particular, liked the training in the very beginning. Just for me, personally, anything that shows that more artsy people who are doing, like, theater or, like, music and stuff like that, so that they also have to be, like, physically fit and athletic to do what they have to do. I love that any time of the day. And them just, like, in the rain having to do, like, wall sits, holding their arms out and, like, running up and down the stairs with their instruments. Just, like, I just like the training montage in general.
Okay. This one's gonna come kind of out of left field.
Okay.
But I liked Nick Cannon and Zoe Saldana's on-screen dynamic. We didn't see a lot of it.
No, we didn't.
And I'll talk about that later, but I did kind of like their, like, flirty kind of dynamic when they were on screen together.
Yeah.
So
I wrote something similar to that. I said they made sense together.
Mm-hmm.
They, like, had that little push-pull thing in a good way.
Yeah.
And they actually talked to each other, unlike some other romance stuff we've seen. Stop the yard, I'm looking at you. They actually, like, talked to each other, so their relationship made more sense to me. So, yeah. But I guess the other thing I will say I liked was, the position challenges, where you can challenge the position of someone else on the band.
Yeah.
This still all goes back to I like their drumming.
Yeah.
But to go up a spot, you have to, like, challenge someone before game day or performance day.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have watched an entire movie of position challenges because it was so dramatic in the best way. You, like, come up and it's all quiet and everyone's, like, drumming to keep the beat, and then you're doing a little routine, and then you stop, and then the director comes in and is either, like, whispers in your ear that you leave. He, like, comes from behind you and he just, like, whispers.
Like, breathes down your neck, like, and you just know, like, I'm going
and you're
home,
like, I guess I'm going home.
But, okay, that's I think that's pretty much all I wrote down.
So I'm not redundant and just say drumming. That's
like,
basically all I wrote down.
Really, like, a lot of the movie was drumming, so I don't feel bad that that's the only thing I wrote down, but, yeah, that's kind of all I had. Do you have anything else?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So, next we get into kind of, like, more problematic things
Things
we
you
didn't
just
like.
didn't like.
You want to start this one?
Okay. So I'm going to try my best not to raise my voice.
Yeah.
But the thing I disliked the most was Dr. Lee. He was the worst kind of music snob. He said at one point, it was when they were they went to the purple team. I forget who they are.
Their rival school.
Their rival school. They went to their rival school and was, like, watching them perform. And they were, like, playing a, like, popular song and, like, doing a good job. And he was like, the musicians of hip-hop. And I'm like...
Yeah, like, they were, like, performing well.
They were
like,
performing
everyone
well.
was grooving to it. Like, what else do you want?
So good,
you know?
But I just didn't like him because he was just so uppity about, more
Yeah.
popular music. And it's like, you're not deep and cool just because you like classical music.
Yeah.
Or because you're looking down on, like, hip-hop and what people like today. That just means you're a jackass.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're cool. You're just a jerk.
Yeah, no, and we, like, briefly talked about this, too. Like, the dynamic of him, like, being hired, you know, like, 4 years ago and, like, losing 4 years straight and still having a job.
It doesn't make
while
sense.
He's, like, trying to do this, like, let's only play old songs. Let's not do anything hip. Let's stick to tradition.
Because I have that down. That it does. Their dynamic didn't make sense, where the director's here and he's keeping things like old school, but above him, the dean of the school or whoever that guy was, he was like, I want you guys to like keep it fresh and like have fun and da 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 da. And it's like, that's normally reversed, because this way is stupid. When you have the higher up wanting something fun and fresh, and then the lower up keeping like tradition and super boring and stale, that makes no sense, because then you're ahead and you're not getting what you want. You should fire him. He shouldn't have had a job if you... Because one, he kept losing, and two, he didn't do what the guy said. He was like, I hired you to, like, freshen up the thing and so we can win, and what did you do?
And he lost 4 years straight. Like, but, you know, if I'm him, I'm firing the head of the band, because it seems like the band can carry themselves. Like, the Drumline came up with that last routine all by themselves. So, like, they clearly didn't need him.
I also wrote down that I didn't like that when he was doing the, mixing the old school and new school speech, I just was like, you are such a hypocrite. Because I know deep in your heart you don't really like new school, so you're just like almost I didn't like it. And also, you're an adult. Is that like, how did you not have that idea before? Like, come on. All the kids in the class are like, come on, can we play some like new stuff? Like, can we do it? And he's like, no. Flight of the Bumblebee. And it's like, I get that's technically cool, but like, no one's dancing a Flight of the Bumblebee. I mean, black people can dance to anything, so let me not speak too soon, but oh my god. Just that entire thing just reeked of, I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all.
But,
your turn. What did you like?
Honestly, like, that was like the one thing I wrote down as well. Like, I thought his shift to being like, oh, I'll allow it, was just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because like there was that literal scene where like he was talking to the 2 drummers who were beefing after their like performance.
It was like the first performance.
Yeah, where like Nick Cannon like showed up the other guy and he was like scolding them, and then his head comes up and is like, oh, that was the best performance y'all have done in 4 years, literally since you've had your job. You know, and then like at that point, those 2 drummers are like, all right, we don't respect you anymore. Like, I don't care what you have to say, because clearly you're wrong. We're doing it right. But then like it continued a bit. Like he continued to be like, no, we're doing it the old way. And I'm like, after that point, like if you didn't switch, I'm expecting no switch. So then once he switched, I thought it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I wrote down. But I thought everyone kind of had that character switch moment except Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Like, everyone got their kind of, oh, actually, I was wrong, I should be doing this way, except Nick Cannon. So it seemed like he was just that kind of, like, jerk who was full of himself and just really just got his way throughout the movie.
Yeah, I wrote exactly that down. Because I wrote that he had a chip on his shoulder, and it's never explained.
It stayed there the whole movie.
He, like, came in angry every time he came in. And he was just mad the whole time. But it was like, why are you mad? Everything's going your way.
Yeah,
like
I guess I think
it
was kind of that. The movie was kind of the whole like, oh, like young guy who thinks he's the star kind of comes into this organization and isn't the star. He has to go through the training, but like he came in and was the star.
Yeah,
like
so it's
they were putting him through the training for no reason. Like he got P1 his first time, you know, but like he just kind of kept getting his way. Like he got punched and got kicked off, but like when it mattered again, he was right back on the drum line.
Like,
you know,
what?
So Nick Cannon just really kept getting his way. No like character change in him. But everyone around him got it.
Yeah, everyone around got to like shift to be like, maybe Nick Cannon's good.
Yeah,
and it's like, he kind of still sucked. I didn't like him.
For me, the biggest problem with everyone else getting that like storyline shift was it just made the movie long, and like I didn't care about these other characters.
Yeah.
Like I thought we were going to see some change in Nick Cannon, but there was none. Like we saw a change in the older guy, the coach, or not the coach, but like the band director.
The section leader.
Yeah, we even saw that like shifted. We even saw like the white drummer like re-challenge the guy for a spot. I'm like, I didn't even care. Like I had forgotten that happened. You know.
I was like, I don't want him to get the spot. I liked the other guy.
Exactly.
What I wanted to happen was I wanted old guy to like drop his drum and still keep the spot. That
like after he dropped the sticks. Yeah, but.
But speaking of other people shifting, I feel as though they randomly made the other team's band director a bad guy.
I wrote that down too. Like that scene came out of nowhere.
Yeah, because at first I wrote, I was like, I know they want him to seem like the bad guy, but he's not. He's like letting the kids play their good music. He's like, I understand you can't read music, but like as long as you can do what you need to do, it's cool. And he just seemed warm and accepting. And he was like, okay, if you come over here, I'll like work out a scholarship. I'll make sure that you can get like a job somewhere. And I was like, why are we supposed to hate this guy? But then they randomly were like, so, what is the other team doing? And I was like...
Yeah, when they first asked that question, he asked like, so what's the thing you can't tell us? Or what's something you can't tell us? I thought he was talking about the whole he can't read music thing.
Yeah.
Like, I thought was keeping that secret, but he wanted secrets about the other team. Like, you haven't won the last 4 years.
I'm like,
why are you spying on this other team? You know?
Yeah.
So that scene
They
came
got
out
old
left
Dr. Lee
field.
who hates new music, so you're aces.
Yeah.
It's like home run.
Yeah. No, I had that down as an unnecessary scene, and then I also had their whole relationship. Like, there shouldn't have been love in this movie. Like, it was just unnecessary to me.
Yeah,
like,
it was
and
persona.
in a movie that's run, that whole thing. Like, I guess romance sells and it's Hollywood and whatnot, and you have Zoe Saldana on the billing cast, you give her a role, but like, they didn't touch on it enough for me to like remember, like, oh yeah, he has this like love interest, you know.
Yeah.
And so every time she popped up, it just felt like kind of out of the blue, you know. Which again,
really
again, and that's like just another example of like side characters getting stories throughout the movie that didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
again, like,
she
this
didn't have
movie's
anything.
2 hours. Like, we were sitting there for a while
It
watching
felt
this
it.
thing, and like, it feels 2 hours because like you're sitting there like watching it, and it's like, okay, they're drumming, and now this guy gets his moment, and they're drumming again, and this guy gets his moment, and like Nick is still kind of just getting his way throughout it. So you're like, who am I supposed to be attached to? Who am I supposed to be following?
To be honest, as much as we like their chemistry, they could have cut that out.
No, that's what I wrote. I'm like, I liked it. I liked the little moments I got, but you take that away, this movie's like gets a little better.
It's the same, actually.
I think it gets better because I didn't like. It took like, I want to see him drum, and like so much of it was focused on him drumming that again, like those little relationship moments.
It kind of like stalled the movie.
Yeah, like I didn't even notice the first argument they had, where like apparently after the punch she didn't say anything to him. I didn't even notice that was supposed to happen. You know.
Yeah, and that fight also didn't make sense. Because it's like, what? You're mad that she didn't come over to you after you punched people?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, she was with her family. Like, I didn't know that was the expectation.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a lot of unnecessary scenes and like plot lines.
Maybe controversial statement. I think the purple team won the final drum off, but they lost the actual competition.
I don't know if that's that controversial because I wasn't too.
I wasn't impressed with their competition performance when they brought out what's his face, whose name we don't remember.
I wasn't impressed with either of theirs, to be honest.
I can see why Nick Cannon's team won the actual competition.
Yeah. Well, they tied. They didn't even win the actual competition.
I
don't think they should have tied. Yeah.
They shouldn't have tied. I feel as though they should have not tied and just had Nick Cannon's team won, because that final drumline thing again takes more time in this already long movie. But if of course we have to do a tiebreaker, I feel as the purple team won the tiebreaker. But it's weird they shouldn't have been there because they didn't win.
I think purple team was winning up until the last thing. Like, I thought the last one.
Okay.
A&T
Might have edged
did
them a
really
little
good,
bit, but
I don't know if it edged them. I just think like comparing last to last, their last was better.
No, but
the rest of it I would have
Yeah, especially when they had people like hanging off of people's shoulders.
Yeah, no, they had people drumming upside down. That's why I was like, no, how are they gonna lose this? Like, they were upside down, literally drumming in the air. So.
Honestly, this movie is Stomp the Yard is Drumline with step.
Yeah.
I had to double check because Stomp the Yard came after, and I know people get antsy about that.
Oh,
but, okay, we're finally on to rating. I think we've ranted long enough.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first for this one. This one got a 2.5 for me.
Okay.
It deserved a 2, but I was in the band. I was in my college band for like a year, and so I just had those good feelings going.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll give you that half point, but this was a 2. This was a 2. It's gonna show up 2.5 on the screen, but this was a 2. I want to be clear, but I'm giving it a 2.5. Nothing to do with the movie. It just has to do with me being in a band and getting those good memories. You know. Other than that, like, the movie was way too long. Like, everyone got a storyline except Nick Cannon. The love thing was irrelevant and should not have been, like, didn't need to be there. Drumming was cool.
Yeah.
Bumped it up to a 2. But then again, like, by the end of it, the movie had been going on for so long that, like, I was like, all right, wrap this up. Like, y'all are still, y'all have been drumming for 2 hours now. Like, y'all are tired? I'm tired.
The last thing, there were 3 rounds for their final thing.
Yeah.
We thought there were only 2.
No, because I swear he said each team will get 2 cadences. I was like, all right, we're almost done. Thank God. And then they did a third, and the third one, of course, the third is the longest.
And I was like,
but yeah, this is a solid 2, bumped up to a 2.5. I want to be very clear that the movie is a 2, but bumped up
funny
to a 2.5.
you say it's a 2 because I did give it a 2.
Yeah, see, it is a 2 type movie.
It's a 2 because, like I said, this is just Stomp the Yard, and it's just the same level where, like, the thing that they're doing is really good. Like in Stomp the Yard, their step was really good. In Drumline, their drumming's very good.
Yeah.
But the story around it is not that great. And honestly, it goes on too long. And Nick Cannon was just wildly unlikable. And I think it's because of what you said. Everyone else had a story, but he didn't. So he still stayed the same jaded chip on his shoulder guy.
Yeah.
Which, again, made no sense because he got everything he wanted.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I guess there was that scene where he shaved his head, but, like, even that, like...
Even that, he still, like, kind of came out on top.
Yeah.
Like... Because it was like, I'm not shaving my head. Then he, like, left, and then 2 seconds later,
yeah,
he was like...
He
came back with the razor, and he was cheering. It was like... What was this for then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, do you wish you'd seen this earlier?
No. Like, yeah, just no. Like, I'm glad I saw it after being in a college band for a brief stint. You know, like it was fun, like comparing it. My band was nothing like this at all.
I definitely asked you
like,
questions about.
Yeah, no, I kind of just showed. Like, we kind of just showed up and played. Like, if you came to enough practices, they let you play.
Yeah.
So I came to I went to practice once a week.
So you could play.
Yeah, I'd only play if the weather was nice and it was a home game. Like me out there in the rain doing waltzes, that was not my experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Drumline.
I didn't say if I liked it or not. If I
Oh.
would see it or not.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I was a no.
I'm also a no. I feel as though similar to Stomp the Yard, if I would potentially look up drum scenes from this, there are a lot to choose from because they drummed constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't need to see this earlier. I almost didn't need to see it now.
Yeah. Actually, I guess going on seeing it earlier, when I was in like high school, this played every time there was like stuff going on and like, you know, like we were all in the auditorium.
Yeah.
So I had seen a lot of parts of this movie, but like again, I like in my head this movie was just a lot of drumming, and it was literally just 2 hours of drumming. So
yeah.
Like I definitely knew what happened in the movie, but like a lot, like I feel like the point of this movie, like the whole like kid joins the scene is like trying to shit on in the beginning, and then you know they need him at the end.
Yeah.
Like they hammered that point way too hard. Like just way too many like scenes of them drumming and like just way too many like scenes in general. Like they just hammered everything home way too hard.
I get
that. But that's everything now.
That was Drumline.
All right. YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell. Also leave comments or tweet us suggestions for movies you want us to watch. We watch movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. And on Sundays we watch TV shows and listen to music. All of our... What is it? All of our social medias will be linked in the description below. And we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye. Take away. I will fight Doctor. Is he a real person? No, but I will.
Yeah.
Because I'm so upset at him and his musical superiority. Like, get off your high horse. When the other director told him he had to stick up his ass still, I was like, thank God someone else sees it. You suck.